Folks, we've got the biggest stump grinding project we've ever had on Tractor Time with Tim. This is a whole grove of ash trees. A lot of them have already been taken down. Several more of them are dying. But our friend Ben and his son Sam, well, quite frankly, they just couldn't afford the grinding bill. And I don't blame them, so we gave them a special deal as long as they help. Got them set up. I've got my own tractor to get started on now. This one's gonna be a grind. Let's get started. That I chose to start on here was nearly rotten already. I hope we get graded by numbers of stumps. No, this one's just not, this one's gonna be easy. Of the three grinders we've got here, this is the, I would say, the least capable. And I'm not trying to downsell it at all. It's also the least expensive. I put it on this bigger tractor because while the 1 Series, the 1025R, will do the job, it shakes the tractor a lot. With this larger tractor, I don't have near as much shake.
A little bit of a spoiler alert here. As this episode goes on, my opinion of this grinder really increases. By the way, the price of this grinder has declined again, making it similar in price to its Chinese competitor. You can get it at shopgreendealer.com/TTWT and use code TTWT for a 5% discount. This is Ben, the homeowner. He's never driven a Ventrac before, and he's never ground a stump with any tractor-attached grinder. Furthermore, I haven't ground any stumps with this particular grinder, so he's kind of on his own. And this is Sam, Ben's son. He's a local firefighter. Sam's actually restoring an old Farmall H, so he seems to be developing a passion for tractors. Having said that, he's not used a tractor-mounted grinder either, so I gave him some brief instruction and set him out on his own. I chose to use the 1P24. I thought it might take a little bit longer to learn than the other ones, so I thought maybe I'd be most efficient with it. They're all different, but they take probably the same amount of time to learn to operate efficiently.
This stump's rotten too. Makes it easy. I'm 2 for 2 on choosing rotten stumps. I think it wants me that way.
Still going. It's 10:42. We got here about 9, but we didn't get started right away. Tim gave him a little instruction. But these 2 stumps are gigantic. Ben's working on a route that goes way out to the side. I believe this is stump number 5. Tim's done 3, but they've been rotten. Been here longer. Some of them were hollow in the middle.
With this grinder, it's easy to get lost. I find a spot that I didn't grind good enough and I go back to get it, and then I kind of get lost on where I am. But it's really doing well on these ash stumps. This grinder is excelling today. I'm a little surprised. I thought the others would be better. In fact, I still think that for most applications, they're better grinders. But this one's doing really well on the stumps that I've tried so far.
This grinder is hinged there at the top, right above the word Baumolite, and there's a pin you're supposed to remove to allow that hinge to operate. And that hinge then keeps you from putting too much stress on the grinder. Well, against the manufacturer's recommendations, I've been leaving that pin in. This allows me to get the most out of that grinder, especially with a higher horsepower tractor.
Sometimes I just have to get some of the sawdust out of the way to figure out where I am. I grind around in there, but I don't know how deep it is sometimes. There's another purpose here. There's a little bit of a hole out here, looks like from a prior stump years past. And by leveling this up a little bit, it makes it easier for me to handle my tractor. I don't think I've got all this yet. No, there's some of it still. I'm getting closer than I thought, actually. This stump is a mixture of really good wood and some rotten wood. And it makes it kind of hard to grind because I'm going along in the rotten wood, and then all of a sudden I hit an area of really good wood and it, pulls down or wants to kill the tractor. There's a lot of horsepower required, and at least with this grinder, a lot of variability in how hard it pulls. And when I say a lot of horsepower required, no, you can do it with a 25 horse. You'll just use it all quite often. I really don't know what the max horsepower could be on this particular grinder, the 1P24 Baumolite. It may have a rating, but there's no gearboxes, so it would just be the shafts. If it weren't hard to see, I would put it on the 4075R and actually try it. You might tear up the entire shaft on the thing, but I think it would be unlikely. And yeah, that would really grind. But I like to choose the open station tractor because I can see so much better right down here behind me. Visibility is the hardest aspect, really. Being able to see what I'm doing is the biggest challenge with this grinder. Of course, it's difficult on my neck a little bit, but it's not too bad because I'm looking straight down here. If I had to look way back there, I would have to twist more. As it is, it's almost a more downward look than it is a backwards look. So even for my aging neck, it's not too bad. Not as bad as you might think, right? Like I find a rotary cutter that's way back there and I have to try to spin. That doesn't work very well for me, but right down here, it's more downward than it is backwards. One more little bit on this one and I'll be done.
This is a pretty good illustration. Since I don't have the hinge enabled, I can put a lot of force on that grinder pulling it forward. I can pull forward, well, as much horsepower as I have, right? So I clearly am introducing stress on the shaft of the PTO and introducing stress on the frame of the grinder itself by forcing it through. Who knows, I may break it, and if I do, it's on me.
Sam got done with his first stump and has moved on to another one. And Ben has also gotten done with a stump and has moved on to another one. Right out there. I may have lost count. I think this would be 6, 7, and 8. Tim's working on one somewhere.
Boy, if you need some potting soil, there's some incredible soil here. Most of this stump was rotten. And it's just rotten wood. You can kind of even see the deep red in it. I think I'll leave that hump there for that exact reason. They may want to get that for some good soil for some other place. In fact, there's a hole over here somewhere. Well, we'll see what they want to do. I'm noticing that the most optimal position for the tractor and for the camera is in the shade.
Absolutely. I will not deny that.
Me neither. I don't know why I didn't bring a canopy. Gotta find my ISO tunes.
Done killed it.
That's an example of the soft rotten wood, and then I get into some real, still good wood. He's throwing all of his chips right at me.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Christy doesn't seem to be too concerned about me, does she? Oh well, that's how it goes. These are two really fresh stumps they're solid, they're huge, and they're close by each other here. Sam has already figured this 3P24 out. He's using it very efficiently at this point. I was incredibly impressed with how quickly he caught on to it and was able to kind of learn the nuance. Anyway, these two large stumps side by side were a good example for us to compare the 1P24 and the 3P24. I started the day thinking the 3P24 was a lot better, but by the end of the day, my attitude had changed. More on that in a minute. As I said earlier, I haven't used the KC220 yet, so I wasn't able to give Ben many tips on how to do an efficient job. If you've used this grinder and you have some pointers, let us know in the comments section. Meanwhile, after the first stump where he ground it all the way down as he went across, he changed his approach here. He decided to grind it to ground level first, and then come back a second time and get it to grade. One thing that was a little disappointing this day is it wasn't much of a social event. We didn't have our intercom headsets, but I don't think it would have made a lot of difference. Grinding these stumps requires a lot of concentration. You got to watch closely and react quickly to keep from killing the tractor, no matter which style you use. I like mixing in the soil that I've kind of tilled up and getting the roots around the edge with the wood chips that we've taken out of the center of the stump. This should allow grass to get started nearly immediately. If you pile it too thick with pure wood chips, well, when they're decomposing, the grass just won't be able to grow.
Ben and Sam, have you ever ground a stump with any sort of a mechanical grinder before?
Not a tractor. A hand grinder, but not a tractor.
You want to go back to a hand grinder?
No, thank you.
What'd you think of Vinny?
Vinny was a lot of fun, and it was very interesting to figure out how to steer him because he's articulated, but it was good.
I need to use that grinder. I didn't get a chance to use it today. Once you got seated on it, Ben, there was no way anybody could root you off of it. But it's different than I believe the other one was a 180, and so this is a 220, I believe, and it's a different style. So it'll be interesting to see how you chose to go about grinding stumps. We'll see it in the video.
Yeah.
Sam, you haven't ground stumps with a tractor either.
Nope.
But you have watched Tractor Time with Tim.
I have.
Cool. Cool. What'd you think of Johnny 2 and that swing arm grinder?
That was fantastic. Worked great.
Yeah. You know, I was really surprised that the 1P24 worked as well as it did here. I think being on this bigger tractor really made a big difference. I was able to just power on through and take a deeper bite than I have in some scenarios. I can almost keep up with you, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think you did more stumps than I did, but I had some bigger ones.
Almost all the stumps I did were not in very good shape, right? I think pretty well every one you tackled was a brand new, brand new cut down. So I don't know that that's really a fair comparison. But this guy held its own. It spins a lot slower. This one doesn't spin near as fast as that. It's the same disc.
Okay.
But that one spins over 800 RPM and this one just spins 540 because of the way it's designed. I'm just glad to be able to help you out, Ben.
I appreciate all the help. Yeah.
This is really cool, and Sam, it's great to get to meet you as well.
Yeah.
Local fireman.
Thank you.
Yep.
If you ever have any sort of medical issue at the Indianapolis airport, Sam may be your man.
I'm your guy.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. They probably didn't know that, but that's the way it goes.
Though you grind a fool in a mortar, grinding them like grain with a pestle, you will not remove their folly from them. What a shame. Ash trees are just wonderful. Unfortunately, the ash borers got them, and you can see that we're going to have more business here. Ben's been removing trees for 10 years now, I think, and this view shows that half of the ones remaining are dying. Bad news. Oh well.